We're back again, talking about our favorite topic, All Stars 5. How
That's
are
my
you
favorite
feeling
three.
about All Stars 5 overall?
So far,
hmm
I'm just underwhelmed, low-key.
You know, I was talking to my best friend this morning saying, we were going to do this video, and he just said he is underwhelmed by the talent. And I don't hate everything going on. I really love Juju. Like I said, everybody has need some validate or vindication in one way or another, but I'm just kind of I don't know if it's like the challenges are getting
It's
stale.
also the challenges, because I mean, this
Yeah.
challenge this week was already done before, but
Right,
on top
exactly.
of that, though, it's the personalities. They're not boring. It's just that the past seasons had even bigger personality. Like almost everyone was a big personality. And this one just kind of has like a few. It's really just like Alexis is a personality.
Oof, this episode, this week too.
Actually, it's kind of just Alexis.
Right. I was living for when Juju turned to the camera and she was like, "Oh, English is her second language."
I was gagged by it, but I was just like, why did she just break the fourth wall like that though? Like,
that's Juju. Juju knows where the spotlight and that camera is at all time, and she is receiving it.
That's true.
That's
I lived for when Miss India came over like a little messy queen and was gagging about it. I was just like, that's very much us though.
Right, but that's so India. That's probably how she got into all that trouble with Derek in Las Vegas. So you want to speak on Miss Cracker now or Miss Cracker later?
Wait, what did Miss Cracker do?
You just kind of her edit that she's getting this season. As
you mean just like I was just like, oh, was she in controversy now? You know what? I was wondering too, because I would watch the what's the show called? Her show. She goes Craction. What's the name of it?
Oh, I don't even know. I didn't know she had her own web show.
Oh, Review with a Jew. That's what it's called.
Is that World of Wonder? Or is that on her own?
No, that's on her own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then I wish you knew, because then I was gonna ask a question. But when she's filming it, and she does a pretty cute edit. She almost gives you kind of like a bootleg, Katia and Trixie kind of edit, because with the little like things, like she has like editor and like puts things in, so it's cute. But it's like it's not bad. But she's always talking to this girl named Caitlin. I think it's Caitlin, and I thought it was her friend. But now I'm wondering if it's actually her sister and she low-key don't have friends. Because when she was talking about on the show, right, she was saying she doesn't have friends. And I'm just like, well, you have that Caitlin. But then I was just like, wait, is it her sister actually?
Her bio sister?
Yeah, I'm like, is it her bio sister maybe?
I don't know. I'm going to have to get into it, and we're going to have to talk about it again. I've now that you mentioned it, I've seen it like in an offhand way, but I don't think I've watched more than like a minute or two. I haven't absorbed it.
Because it's like, well, yeah, because then it made me think like, well, who are her friends? Mm-hmm. I know she keeps with Bob, but that's just
right.
Like...
Yeah, I mean, well, she was very friendly with God, I'm really forgetting everybody today. Who was the drag queen who came out for the Power Sync this week?
Oh, Monet?
Monet.
Well, I mean, she's friends with Monet's friends with Bob.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's why.
I guess, yeah, but and then her and Aquaria, I think they don't speak at all, because neither one has mentioned
anymore
his name in ages.
But I was just confused because, like, with her first on the season she was on, I didn't get like all this insecurities and having the hard time to make friends. So I was thrown off by the hard time to make friends part.
Yeah, because it just seemed like this like storyline appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, it's just been confusing. Just that it's just very, very confusing. Yeah. I don't really quite know how this is going to flush out.
But when she said that, it did make me think like, well, you don't necessarily see her kikiing with queens like that. Mm-hmm. And then on her show, I'm like, is that her sister? Because
you don't even see her doing like Work the World tours or like a lot of packaged events with other queens. She always seems to be, Review with a Jew. Solo stuff. It's just Miss Cracker. Yeah, think about it. You never.
Well, yeah, and then that goes right down because she even has a one-man show, no less.
Right. Yeah, you never see her doing like the roast, anything paired up with, Cameron Michaels or. you know, Vanjie. I'm forgetting everybody's names today. But yeah, you never see her in any kind of package deal like that.
That
So,
is true.
you know,
Why
interesting.
is that?
Maybe
I
she
would be
maybe
friends
she
with her.
is
She's a
really
gag.
difficult to work in. You know, I've heard a lot of bad things
Okay.
about Valentina behind the scenes, about what a
Oh
bitch
well, that
she
you could
is.
see from that you could see just from like in general because I watched like a couple like behind the scenes work the world. She seemed like she'd be hot, and then
Right.
and Trix and not Trixie, Latrice was. Ooh, there was one episode where behind the scenes of Work the World, and Latrice wanted to let her have it because she was always late. Like that's her thing. She's always late.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
she gets it. I'm not surprised
She
about her.
did a big show in San Jose, and it was like sold out. I mean, sold out to capacity. And she flipped the meet and greet and the performance. She was supposed to do the performance and then the meet and greet like usual, but she flipped it, and it caused a big old thing. I mean, people were so upset. So because people had planned, you know, think about it. You know, these kids are working in retail, fast food. You know, they had planned to, you know, be at the show, you know, and, you know, be home at a certain time to wake up the next day. And then because they wanted to see her perform, I don't even think they really cared about the meet and greet so much. And it caused this huge thing. She got so much like the comments on the Instagram were just horrific, you know, because people were really, really upset.
I
So
could see that. She's
because
always
it's kind
late.
of that thing, you know, you're not thinking of other people. It's me,
Well, that's what Latrice said. She doesn't care about everyone's time. So they were all like, it's like the
mm.
Work the World tour. That was the consensus that they all had. Like the bitch don't give a
Yes,
fuck about
Trixie
her
said
time.
that about Alyssa too, that those two are like the
Oh,
notorious
Alyssa too.
great ones, you know, and Trixie said, you know, it's funny, it's a gag, you know, when it's, you know, televised, but, you know, when you actually need to be somewhere on time and on a bus into the next city, not so funny, you know, so because then everybody else is late, you know.
True. That is true. But in Valentina's defense, she
Oh,
is really pretty and she has a lot of work to do. So it's going to take her a little bit longer. Whereas, like, though I like a Trixie,
I think Trixie
that
takes the
makeup.
most time. Trixie said it takes 3 hours to do her makeup, that she puts on a movie while she does her makeup. It
Really?
takes that long. I mean, to think about it, just that eye chunk alone is like an hour.
True. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a really it's talented the makeup that she does do. But I would like to just see her serve pretty because she gives clown essentially. And I'm curious what pretty looks like on
Well,
her.
have you ever seen Trixie 10, 12 years ago when she did Soft? I don't think that's possible for mixed Trixie. I don't think like Bianca could still maybe do pretty, you know,
Yeah,
since she has
well, I'd like to see her
clownish.
too.
And she has, you know, she posts a lot of
I can't
Instagram,
remember.
you know,
But
of
yeah.
her looking more fishy.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think Soft is in Trixie's wheelhouse.
That's
Like she
true.
should. She paints for the check cashing place around the corner.
That's true. But for Valentina, I'm like, I kind of understand it because by the time the bitch is done, it's like, that's a woman. So
Well,
I could see it needing a lot of time, but she
I
should
always
start earlier or whatever she
we
needs to
really need to do a roundup or like some sort of like photo montage of the queens who just have like the half eyebrow as boys and then they
Oh,
paint
yeah.
because I love when she's like doing her boy like interviews and she's in the rap with a half eyebrow.
I really wish they would just take off the whole eyebrow.
Well, I think they would look like Sasha Velour. I don't know if everybody can pull off that
But
look.
half is even crazier looking.
I guess I don't know. Well, let's get into All Stars 5. The reason we're here.
Yes.
All right, we did. Ronald did the PowerPoint this week, and so we don't have a lot of photography. We were not.
It was hard to find photography. In fact, all the pictures that I'm using, like I found from like their Instagrams and stuff.
Oh, okay. By the way,
Like,
love Shay's outfit here. I
yeah,
guess
that's why I put this because I was just like, oh, that's so cute. I would wear that.
that is so Ronald Grayson Day, really.
That
So
is.
the ladies of All Star Season 5 had to do a boutique hotel design challenge. This has been done before.
Last season, right? Yeah.
They edited like it was going to be super funny and it was going to
Right.
have like all this drama and all this intrigue, and then you were just kind of like, okay.
And it's also just like I get it, and it was cute the first time, but it's like don't do it again because
Right.
it's not HGTV. Like HGTV, like no, it's not like the design. It's just like no.
So
I mean,
Shay, Mariah, and Cracker did a Golden Girls Miami theme. While the design was pretty good, the execution of the characters fell pretty flat. Like it was like they were going in and out of accents, and it's like Ross said, like if you're gonna do something as iconic as Golden Girls and something that every gay man practically has memorized every episode, you have to go big with that.
Right.
And it was just a very low vibration, you know, and
Right.
I didn't really get it. Like Ross said it best. If you're gonna do it big. What did you think?
Well, go to the thing, because I want to like unpack it.
Okay.
Because even it should be the next one.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So, well, let's just say India Farah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. I thought you were. No, because I thought you
Yeah,
were.
no, Jujubee.
Oh, okay.
And Alexis Mateo next team. Let's go to the next slide. There's the Glamour Zone. So
Oh,
that
okay.
was
Well, okay. Well, yeah. So,
yeah.
we'll come back to the spiel about the Golden Girls, because I thought we were just like going. Okay, yeah.
Going in
But
order.
let's just start with this though. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with India Farah, Alexis Mateo, Jujubee, do the Glamour Zone. It was a lot of Ratchan, which I thought was fun. So Jujubee definitely stole the show. I love when she says, "I'm come inside," and she's like, "I definitely said that before." And
she's just funny in general.
yeah, and I thought all the girls' hair and makeup was pretty on point.
Yeah.
I liked India Farah with the golden shower.
The thing about that though,
mm-hmm.
that golden shower didn't belong there.
I didn't think so.
That wouldn't be in the jungle. And yes, it's a hotel, but it's just like that. If anything, it belongs in the gold room.
Right.
But
it would have been funny if there was somehow they could have made it like outside, like if they maybe did like green screen of the shower.
Yeah,
that would have been more funny.
And that was like her contribution or whatever. And
yeah,
it's like, that's not enough. Like,
yeah, it fell kind of flat. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. And
then let's just unpack the room though. I get the jungle, and yes, green does make you think jungle, but it looks sparse.
Right.
And it looks sparse. It doesn't look finished, and we need more greenery. A couple plants isn't enough. We need more greenery to feel like we're in a jungle. That's A. And then B.
They may have limited props. You know, it's like they don't. I mean, I actually think they probably gave them 3 themes. And then they, just let them choose from 3 themes. And they
really
it's a lot to move that stuff, to stage that stuff. Like,
no, they better have came up with that shit on their own, because I'd be pissed. Because it's like, well, they better not have. No, I think they came up with that on their own. Because then they had the Golden Girl seems like they came up with that.
But I'm living for Jujubee looking like this cheap hooker here with those.
She does. And then can we get into right? And then can we get into them having the nerve to put that sad RuPaul picture on the back? I was like, seriously?
I forgot all about that.
I was just like, no. So that room definitely was the worst to me, though, because it was like, it was cute, but it's just not executed well. It almost looks like an IKEA vignette, but not a snap.
It just looked kind of cheap overall.
It looks cheap.
So, and like, I guess if like you're gonna go cheap, go funny, but there was almost a seriousness in their tone.
Except for Juju, but yeah. Well, no, because Alexis didn't have a serious tone, because she's always just crazy funny.
Alexis is funny, but she relies on her accent to make her funny. I guess that's the best part. Where like Juju's like a born comedian, India is just not a comedy queen. So, true. But this was not what's the best way to explain it? Alexis is very funny in that Charo way where you're like inside the joke of coochie coochie coochie, True. So, and if that's it's true. Not in that vein, Alexis true. Can't.
That is true.
That's just not her wheelhouse.
That's true. You're right, actually. That's true.
All right. So the 24 karat gold with Mayhem Miller and Blair. I thought they worked really well together, but poor Mayhem in that little dress, though. I was like, why didn't your friend Blair tell you to put on some latex tights or something? Because those legs, those ham hock legs, honey, looking like.
Well, now this is an example of they were told. Well, it does make you wonder, though, actually. It does actually make you wonder, though, like, did they, what, that does make you wonder, like, do they know the challenges ahead of time, actually? Because it's like, how would you have known to pack a gold number?
Oh, well, I think any drag queen has a gold number in there.
But then how did you know to pack old lady gear for Golden Girls then?
Oh, I guess that's true.
So it does make you wonder, like, do they get the challenges ahead of time? They do. Well, I know they get the runway challenges.
That's what I'm saying. I think they gave them 3 vignettes, and then the team had to choose the vignette, and so they
Oh.
probably were packed for each.
I mean, I guess now that you mention it, I could see that being the case. I wish they would come up with it on their own,
Think
but I could see
about the
that being.
Drag Race, like the first few seasons of Drag Race, where they literally had like a check-in, bag, and now they're plastic trunks that they're wheeling
True.
out on like a flatbed because they
True.
need so much stuff,
True.
to be prepared for. And look at our show. It's like if there's one flaw, people will clock you,
True.
so quickly.
True. You're so right.
So, and I thought this was a little bit unfair almost, because see how they have all the like sparkly gold,
Well,
on
I mean, they utilized. Well, actually, I think that was just a filter that they added later.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
The rest of the queens didn't get this filter, this little extra effect.
True, you're right.
And so, look, they got curtains, and they got this sort of
But
like
on those curtains, because I was
wall.
kind of gagged by those curtains just being on a wall all random like that. And I get they wanted to make like a headboard kind of moment,
Right.
but it's just like it just looks out of place. Those curtains.
Okay, and by the way, Blair looks like incredible as always.
It does.
I'm really living for, and I live for that little see-through glove she's giving you.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's cute. Yeah, you're so right. Like that was cute, but you're right about Mayhem too. They were, but I mean, do you think they deserve to win that challenge?
I mean, it was like.
I guess I like how Rue did it, where they were like essentially the winners, but like, or safe, if you will.
Yeah.
But not the winner from that. I like that he picked a winner from somewhere else.
The performance for Mayhem and Blair was really good. I like that they kept being like rich.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. The designing, this ain't no El Decor spread, any of these rooms. So it's like.
But they were trying to copy Club, what is it, 69 or whatever?
Club 96.
96, yeah. So, yeah, they were trying to copy that.
Which, by the way,
felt so much like that. Huh?
If the room is ever cold and you just need to warm people up, just be like, Club
96. Right. Basically, but it was cute, but you could tell they were copying. But yeah. Oh, what did you think about the judge that was there to judge those rooms?
Martin Lawrence or Nicole?
Uh-huh.
He's actually a pretty prestigious designer. Speaking of El Decor, he did Kylie Jenner's house.
Oh, he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
He's done a good number of those homes. I mean, his style is very British come LA with that sort of Elton John, big, bold, LA elegant.
But I kind of would have liked to have seen a more like. I mean, yeah, he's big because Kylie Jenner is big, but it's just like he's not necessarily a household name.
But he has a show on Bravo too, a group show on Bravo. Yeah, I forgot. It's canceled now, but it was on a few years ago. It was like him, Kathy Ireland, the interior designer, not the model, Nathan Turner, who's also like within its own, everything's a microcosm. Like, not everybody necessarily knows who these drag queens are. It's like, I'll talk to my grad school group and be like, are you guys in a drag race? Watch my Zoom show. And they're like, because they're 3 cisgender straight people, so these people are a huge celebrity. That what I'm saying is he's a huge celebrity within his own microcosm, within that
for sure.
Architectural Digest world there
for sure. But I mean, there's still going to be one that like that one person that still manages to be so mainstream that you still even know him, and I would say a Nate Berkus is that.
Right, but
so I would have liked to see
that. That is the example I was going to give you. Like, I don't think like a Kelly Wessler would work on Drag Race. I mean, they need somebody who's going to be a little over the top. Even like Nate or Nathan Turner, who are both gay men, I just don't see them really working in this context.
Really?
Like, their sense of humor is not that big. So
it was boring.
Well, it wasn't the best episode overall, so, and it was like Nicole Byer. It's like, if you're kind of going to have like
what I would have did, because I watched the show, I would have used Nate Berkus and his husband, because his husband is a gag.
Oh, really?
And the husband is a designer as well.
Yeah, I know. He's from my hometown too.
Is he?
Yeah, I met him once. He's really, really nice. We have a lot of friends in common, but I don't know him that well. But
that would have been a gag to have them together, huh?
I just don't think he's like funny. Nice.
You don't think he's funny? On the show, he's the funnier one, because Nate is kind of like boring and stick up his ass, but he's the funny one, the husband. So I think if they were both on,
never watched one of their shows like ever. I met the other one like.
I watched interior design. So I watched that one. I used to watch it because it was a gag, and I mean I think they would be able to judge that. They're like they have taste.
Okay, all right. So judging
Yeah.
panel, yeah. So
And then
also
wait, who was the other judge? There was one more.
Nicole Byer, who I'm not even really sure what her.
No, she's good. I like her.
Okay.
Monique Hart does a lot of things with her. She'll do like makeup tutorials on her.
Oh,
But she was like she's kind of like one of the, I don't want to say first black big girls, but like she's like a black big girl who like I feel like she should be a recognizable black big girl. If you, I don't want to put them in
like
categories.
I need like a Leslie Jones. Like I need a Leslie Jones on every episode. So
Well, yeah, no, but
like,
I mean, but my point is though, true. No, but my point is like she's kind of like up and coming. So that's why they used her. She's like the up and coming, no shade, like black big girl, if you will. But she has a show called Nailed It on Netflix where it's just like they take like actual bakers and then make them try to like replicate these like crazy designs for cakes.
Oh.
And then like you judge them. So it's kind of just like if you took one of us to bake a cake and we've never fucking baked cakes like that, and then we had to make this elaborate designs. So then you judge it and it's called Nailed It, and then like they have like a panel of judges and she's on it. And it's a gag. It would actually be cute if we were on that too, because that'd be funny.
Well, you never know. 1,000 subscribers. Make sure you subscribe below.
Right, subscribe below people so we can be on that show. But yes.
All right, what's next? Okay, so then Golden Palace, going back to Shea Coulee, Cracker, and Emerald. Now, see, this is the thing. When it started, look at this image on the bottom right. So good. The outfits were really spot on. The room was really good. I love all the pink with the rattan. And I mean, let's get into Mariah's outfit. This is great. You know, with the wig.
Is it Blanche though?
That's the thing. I don't think. Now, first of all, I don't think the audience, or I don't even think the girls knew. They had a show called Golden Palace. The Golden Girls who left.
Now you're even telling me, because I'm Golden Girls fish. I watched Golden Girls. I didn't even know about that.
I don't know if this is factually correct, so don't quote me. I think B. Arthur left, or one of them left. And then they basically tried to take the three remaining ones, and tried to do the Golden Palace. Like, which was the actual show for one season. So I don't even think anybody even got that reference within the
I did it, because when I saw the season finale, I was just like, oh, it's done. I didn't know they did a spinoff.
Yeah, so they did a spinoff. And this is the thing. I wouldn't have minded hearkening to the Golden Girls, but if you're going to do exact impressions, make those impressions. It's just like Derek Barry. Like, don't let the impressions fall flat. Like, it could have been just like old lady, old lady chic, with the super old one, the sexy one, and the comedy queen. But they didn't need to be, Blanche Devereaux, Rose.
Well, no, they did have to be the character though, because that's the point. But
that's what I'm saying. I think that's why it felt flat. It would have been stronger if they weren't referencing a character. If they had just done an old lady character that they had developed on their own.
But then it wouldn't make sense, because then it's just old lady. It's not Golden Girls.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think they need to separate the two. That it's one of two categories. Do Golden Girls and do Golden Girls well. Or develop your own character that's strong, that has nothing to do with the Golden Girls.
Well, then at that point, you need to change the decor then, and just make a nursing home in general then.
But there's a lot of senior citizens in Florida. It doesn't necessarily need to be. Well, they wouldn't have they couldn't have said anything golden then. It needed to be like, old lady hot house or something.
Because the thing is, when you use that print, you better be serving Golden Girls though, because it's Blanche. That's the Blanche room. But going back to even that though, to be honest with you, I like that. I'm torn about the pink and blue, because the floral part was like a blue rather than a green leaf. It was like, look at it.
Yeah, that's more this is very like modern. Like I could see this in like the Webster retail store in Miami,
but
at the Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami.
Yeah, I like it, and I like that it's inspired by the Blanche room. But quite frankly, I would have liked to have seen it be Blanche room realness and make it how the actual Blanche room was without the pink, and do everything green.
Well, honey, that's what I'm saying.
I like that.
I don't think they had all those resources. That's why these design challenges fall flat. I mean, they're getting them, the props that they gave them could film a studio apartment. It's like, I don't think it's that much.
That's true.
So I just think it's really, really limited. I mean, let's get into it. What about, girl, look at these robes on the left-hand side here because they just need to fill the space.
That's true.
And
Because
look,
it's like, it's kind of just like they have like a focal wall. And
right.
granted, that's what
And
Blanche
the
had too.
$1.99 per square foot carpet sample that they got from the Home Depot fire sale after they found out Trump.
Like I can't remember what the flooring was on Blanche's room, but it definitely wasn't that rug. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't every wall had the print or no? Was it just
no, I mean the photography's right here, so it's straight from the show. So
no, from Blanche's room.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. You need to take that out of the conversation. This is not an exact replica. This isn't even a 1%.
That's true.
So get that all out of your.
But yeah, but my point is like my point is from this room, if it's supposed to reference Blanche, Blanche's room hits you in the face like your takeaway was palm leaf.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck
this
it is.
Is a very,
takeaway, I'm more so taking away pink than I'm taking away the leaves.
This is a very, very, very loose interpretation of Blanche.
Yeah.
Like it was a loose interpretation of the Golden Girls and very poor impression of the show.
But now let's get into the acting. So Shea Coulee started cute with the frame.
Yeah, it started off good. It really did.
And low-key, Mariah did gag me. That's why I put that picture there. Her when she did the meaty sausage reference with that. I did gag at that.
Yeah.
So I didn't think she did deserve to be in the bottom. We'll speak on that later. But this didn't necessarily... I didn't think she was the worst in this group. Right. I almost want to say... I mean, actually, I don't know.
Well, Cracker is like... Crack is giving you like 51-year-old Jewish like mother at synagogue. I don't think she necessarily reads senior citizen.
Yeah, she doesn't.
So, and then I guess, I love Mariah's outfit. I think it works for a sexy senior. Shay's really the only one giving you, some Maya Angelou.
But the thing is, Dorothy didn't even wear things like that, really.
That's what I'm saying. They needed to not reference Golden Girls at all. They needed to just do characters that they fleshed out on their own.
Right. Now, here's the thing, though. I need Shea to go through. I live for Shea. But if we based it on that performance, do you think Mariah was a smidge better than Shea?
Yes.
Simply because she did at least have one gag, and I can't remember any gags.
She landed more jokes.
Yeah.
Mariah's the only one with that carrot joke that really landed, and that was
meaty. The sausage, yeah.
I can't remember anything else from anyone.
But that's why. But her runway she did deserve it for the runway. But yeah.
Right.
We'll get into that.
All right. Well, let's move on to that. So. Yeah. Okay. So Ru comes out. Was this fur?
It was fur, and that's why I have to put this in.
Ooh.
No, just the panel down the middle. The sides aren't.
Okay, loving that. That's definitely new. That's definitely not from the RuPaul show 96.
And here's the thing, like, again, I'm torn. Like, I want to like it. I really do.
Why are you hating on it? Ronald.
I want to like it, and it's certainly better than last week. But,
you better speak on that, and you better give me a good argument.
Well, okay, it's certainly better than last week when she was wrapped in all types of fabric, like she was fabric was thrown on her. But this time,
gone wrong.
You said what gone wrong?
That Marc Jacobs mess gone wrong.
Yes. So this is better, and it's a little bit more streamlined. It's a little bit more sleek. But there's, first of all, a little bit of a hot glue complex going on. Like, I feel like it was like it almost looks like someone hot glued it to me.
I was really coming at hate with you, and now you made me laugh.
And then
is it just because the way she's positioned that it looks a little off? I think it's just her body posture.
Maybe. Something about it, I'm just getting DIY vibes from it. And then the shoulders, does it make her kind of look like she has on football gear?
Well, that's the thing that, I am very broad-shouldered myself, and for some inexplicable reason, I always have like female broad-shouldered clients, so I don't know why it happens like literally like 9 out of 10 clients. So I
Uh-huh.
really know how to dress that body shape, and it's like you do not want to add anything. And when I
Right.
first started styling like 15 years ago, like that pagoda shoulder was really in, like the big
Hmm.
shoulder, the padded, and you cannot do that. If you have
True.
all this going on, that is not the accent you want to add.
True.
So it was interesting because I'm not necessarily getting linebacker from RuPaul, but that's very daring as a drag queen and as a man
Yeah.
to add anything to that area because
Yeah.
you are a very
It
slick queen.
it felt, I think what it is I feel like, I think it just felt bulky. Something about the dress as a whole feels bulky. And then I'm not sure if I like the panels. I almost am curious. I'm almost, or at least I'd be curious to see. I know why she put the panels because it gave her a waistline, but I'm almost curious to see what it would look like if the whole thing was just fur and then cinch it in the middle with a belt.
Right.
I'm kind of
That's what
curious how.
I would have really wanted, but that also would have been really hot. So with the stage lights, girl,
I mean, it should be hot now, bitch. There's still a big ass panel of fur down the middle, but
right. The
I
other thing I
wonder.
just figured out too is that you're really used to seeing RuPaul with that X.
Mhm,
Most of the time the fabric is really coming in that X shape and then Xing
mhm.
the waistline, whereas this is just one long line.
That's what I'm saying. She
So,
kind of just looks like a stick. And even though they tried to make curves by putting the panels down the middle, she
right.
still manages to just look like a
Well,
bulky stick.
if she didn't have that belt, this dress would have went way,
Where
way.
it doesn't have a belt.
No, 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 it does. Look right there where
Where?
her hands are. There,
Yeah, her hands are
there
covering it.
has to be a belt cinching that in. There's no way.
No, there was no belt. If there was a belt, I probably would have excused it. I probably would have liked it more. There was no belt. Her hands
Oh,
are just
yeah.
there.
Oh, I wish I had a picture now with her hands down because I thought there was a belt there this whole time.
No, there's no belt. That's why. Because if there was a belt, I probably wouldn't be reading her right now.
So did it
But
come in then? It wasn't just a shift. It came in like a
it kind of just goes like this and then just straight down
Oh,
for
okay.
some reason. But like I said, that's what made me say if the whole thing was fur and then you put the belt, then maybe I would like it more. But then the thing is that fur might have made the sides boxy probably, but the belt would have at least taken her in. But I think what it is the panel like that with the fur is what makes me think hot glue gun challenge. Like, so
Interesting.
something about it is a little bit crafty, but I don't hate it. But I know how to fix it. I like to fix shit.
There we go. I knew it was coming.
Right? What I want to do is actually make it a sweetheart.
Oh, you would have been calling her out, being like, "It's hot topic. It looks cheap if it had a sweetheart neckline, because at least it's elevated right now. You could
You
see
think?
it on one of those kooky London runways with the way it is now. If it was a sweetheart neckline, you'd be like, "Oh my God, it's hot topic. Fredericks of Hollywood."
Really? No, but then I feel like if it was a sweetheart, the only problem is she'd have a hard time serving boobs because it's like we wouldn't be able to use our breastplate
Exactly.
really. But I just feel like something about that shape might make the fur a little bit like kind of like pop more.
Now that I think about it, especially Rue in the past 10 years, I really
Yeah, she
haven't
never
seen
wears
her
that.
do strapless.
Yeah, she's never done strapless
I
though.
don't think
So
she did
I
strapless.
tried it by suggesting that, but I'm curious what that would look like. I'm just trying, or like just something not so broad on the shoulders. There's got to be a way to revamp that though. And because I like using fur, I like fur, and I like that it's kind of like a summer fur, but it's just made kind of like DIY.
Did you try me with the summer fur?
Well, with those bright ass colors, bitch.
Summer fur, like she live in a Carmel or something. All right. So then this was a 3-in-1 challenge, which I thought was pretty difficult. And I felt like most of them really were very inventive, with it. So,
They were. Now, here's my thing. I am cohesion fish.
mhm,
I like cohesion. I don't care what you do, whatever you do, it should have cohesion.
right.
Like,
Mhm.
so she's taking us on a journey of all over the fucking place. Now, I would not have hated it. Well, no, go back because we got to show you guys. We got to show in the middle one.
Yeah,
So the
the
first
middle
one,
one was what I had a problem with.
me too. So the first one, it's fine. It's circus realness, and people thought that it wasn't necessarily giving circus. Like, I got it. I saw it. It's fine.
Mhm.
But the second one, I get it. Okay, they are kind of like, there could be a ballerina in the circus, sure, but the
But the
ballerina wouldn't
thing,
wear that.
but the
Uh-huh.
thing is, especially for a mainstream audience, like you need to give a tutu. And especially if you
Exactly.
already have a bodysuit going on underneath next, why didn't she just have a yellow tutu? You
Exactly.
literally
So that's
could
my
have
thing.
put, you literally could have put a Capezio practice tutu over the
Hmm.
bottom right bodysuit and had a better outfit that
That's what I'm saying, because now she just looks like she's going to a pageant in a gown.
yeah,
And it
exactly. And
doesn't say ballerina.
it's
And
not
she
like
thought,
and so this is what's actually called romantic tutu in ballet. And then if you are going to do that, like in a Giselle or a Serenade or a Laval's, like, with Giselle, it probably would never be this thick. In
right,
Serenade, it's literally one piece of fabric. In Laval's, it's two.
right,
So no ballerina would ever wear a skirt this thick. So
right,
this skirt this heavy in a ballet would be considered a third partner because you'd be more concerned about the skirt and the movement of the skirt than
right.
about your dance.
And then she had the nerve to try to walk on point in those heels.
That was another thing, and I just was like, what's going on? I was like, dancer, you are not, my dear. You know, I mean, that was like worse than, when they tried to give Jennifer Lawrence the arms and like whatever ballet movie that was she did, Red
Yes.
Sparrow. And I was like, somebody needed to call Kurt Froman in to train this one.
Yeah, it was just like,
When
no,
she
so it
was
was
like
just like,
this, she was like,
right. So I had no choice but to take off a massive amount of points, because that needed to be a tutu. But outside of it needing to be a tutu, I needed a different color that brought cohesion in. I needed the tutu to be red.
and yeah, why was it green? I didn't
Yeah,
understand. Because the thing was, it was green head to toe. It's not like it was green
yeah.
going into the bodysuit wasn't green. So I was like, why did you
The
choose?
bodysuit wasn't green, nor was the first one. So it's just like, okay, or then if you're gonna use green, then put green in the first one. But figure out a way to make it cohesive. Don't just hit us with green
Even
out
if
of
she
nowhere.
would have alluded to this hot pink,
And then, yeah, it's like
with-
red, green, and then hot pink. And it's
or
just like,
even this yellow,
and yellow. Like
at
all those
least
colors came
would
out of
have
nowhere. And then
signified.
she tried it for that, like that Instagram photo shoot that she did. Also, can we just speak on these girls doing like these Instagram photo shoots? And since quarantine, it's kind of brought like a resurgence to like a mid 2000, early 2000s, like Photoshop heavily kind of job. Remember when everyone used to just Photoshop themselves into really crazy places and really like it was
Like
so Photoshop?
this is so tacky. It's good. Like I'm
Exactly.
just like I can't even be
Bro,
mad at
that's what I'm saying. Because of quarantine, we had no choice, kind of, but to go back to tacky photoshopping because of quarantine.
Oh, I'm loving it.
She couldn't be on set and do a real photo shoot, but
making me laugh.
but she tried it with adding those yellow gloves because she knew she needed them, because it does kind of help. But on the runway, she didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have those yellow
Speaking
gloves.
of, once again, going back to Laval's, the balancing ballet I'm referencing, which was based on dancing in the 1950s, there's actually this really great part. I mean, I don't think Alexis has any dance education. I'm not saying that as a read. I just don't think she does it. But there's actually this really great part where the ballerina is wearing a sheer glove like Blair St. Clair did earlier in the episode and takes it off. And she could have taken that off in that same
Well, she didn't have a glove at all.
skirt.
Oh,
But
you mean she could have used the? Well, she probably
you
thought
could
about the
use the
glove
glove
like when she was
twice.
doing that
That's what
shoot.
I'm saying.
Well, she probably just thought about that glove while quarantining. And she ordered it on Amazon or something.
There were a lot of, let's just agree and move on that there were a lot of missed opportunities here. So
There
this
were,
could have been really
well,
good.
also that green thing too, and another. I mean, it's subtle and it's probably not a big deal to you, and you probably don't necessarily clock it, but I'm clocking it because since you can't necessarily really see it on the third one because the gloves, but that it's a long sleeve bodysuit.
Well,
So what it is that this part's sheer, the arms are
Mhm.
sheer, and I clocked the sheer on the green one, so it's kind of like like something's under there.
Right.
So it's kind of like, oh well, it reveals obviously under there because she has like the sleeves.
Well, I think Alexis needs a covered arm.
Well, yeah, no, I know, but
Situation.
I'm not saying she should have made the tutu long sleeve necessarily either, but I don't know. I just was just like, well, she has that long sleeve thing, so I know underneath is a bodysuit. Like I knew that was coming. It's subtle though, but
All right, and then Juju. How do I put this? I really, really, really love the Easter. Like, this is so good to me.
Did you try it?
Livia. You didn't like it?
I'm about to read her to filth, and I like me some
Okay.
Jujubee.
And I liked the different holidays, but this is definitely Party City on the left in the middle.
Exactly. So we're gonna go back to I like a good theme, and I like when someone's able to get a brief and follow it.
Mm-hmm.
She did do that.
Mm-hmm.
She gave us a story while doing that. Cohesion is not anywhere in the room. So she thought she did, because she was just like, well, the second two are both red. And so the which one, fine, it's black and I can excuse it in the form of cohesion.
But it looks cheap. This is no
it
share.
That's my problem with the witch one. It looks cheap. And then she even tried it in the photo shoot, tried to add a cat and try to distract it, make her think it's cute. No, bitch, it still
I don't want
cheap.
to interrupt you, but this is the first time I've seen this image. That cat weighed 90 pounds. That cat is 90 pounds. That is the fattest cat I've ever seen in my 39 years of life.
Right, and it is our cat too. It's our own cat.
Oh, is that the cat
remember?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so it's probably her own cat. So she really probably just did that at home. But the second one, that looks so cheap, and it's just like it's so cheap. Like, and first of all, can we talk about the photo shoot too? Because it actually looks like bubbles, but it's actually she ripped paper up to make it look like snow, but it looks like bubbles to me. But
are you sure they just didn't drop snow on her, or it's just?
Well, yeah, I guess they dropped snow.
Effect?
Yeah, I guess they dropped snow, but it looks like bubbles to me.
But in any event, exactly what you're saying, it's giving you 05 Photoshop magic.
Exactly.
I mean,
but it's just I'm so confused. It looks so cheap.
This
and
is
on top
like
of that,
Cosmo Girl, Jessica Simpson special, Christmas special edition cover.
So it's like the storyline is there, but it's all over the place. Like the whole thing's all over the place. Like that it's not in your face Mrs. Claus.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna do a costume, we better get it like we better get it like, oh, I get, like you look at it and you're like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, you're right, exactly. Because I did not know she was doing the seasons with the voiceover. I would have been like, what is she doing? Like,
yeah.
The only, like, this could be in any other circumstance. This could just be witch. It doesn't necessarily need to be Halloween. This could be like a maid almost, with the here. And then this could be anything. Playboy bunny. It doesn't necessarily read Easter.
And I get it. You're in drag. Like oftentimes you want to serve sexy when you're in drag. I do it too. When I'm in drag, I like to serve sexy. But
let's not get crazy.
She can't take me, honey. But I do like no, it is true though, because like my drag, I like to give you thotty, because when I'm a boy, I'm so like I'm conservative, if you will. But I do when I'm in
conservative
drag,
when you've been posting those shirtless shots here in COVID for the past 2 months.
But that's like here or there. I'm the type of bitch that's gonna wear a button up all the way here in the summer, bitch. But my drag, I do like to show skin, so I get wanting to make it a sexy Santa Claus, but sometimes you can't. What is Santa Claus realness? And we know Santa Claus as is the coat. So you needed that coat. You needed some coat with the lining down the middle with the fur.
Oh, yeah, that would have been good, because that would have been really great to go into the next reveal.
Exactly. And that's like Santa Claus realness, and we would have got that better. Like, Mrs. Claus don't wear that with some sad white trim at the end. Like, it just don't look like her. Like, we can't get it. And then you get it because of like all the other context. You get it like, oh, I guess she has a white wig, so I guess it must be Mrs. Claus. But it's just like, it doesn't punch you in the face, Mrs. Claus.
Jujubee is interesting because we're probably same age, same era. I think we're only about maybe 1 or 2 years apart. And this is much harkens back to like older drag to me, when it was much more crafty, when there was less custom.
Shane, when I tell you,
mm-hmm.
when I tell you, I'm not even reading, and she read Mayhem, I would not be surprised if at least possibly all three, but the witch one and the second one she really bought from Amazon.
Oh, like, yeah, I know. When I said Party City, I meant that as the retail outlet that she bought these from, not Party City.
Yeah, because it looks Party City. Like, and if we were to even go back to just like doing these themes in general, My biggest problem with all of them is how cheap it looks. Like, it literally looks like those costumes you pull out of a bag. That's my biggest problem with it. And I live for Jujubee, but that's my big, and that's, I almost want to put her in the bottom.
Well, that's
Just for
what
those
I'm
illusions.
saying. I just don't think she's that custom kind of girl. You know, like we
But
said,
it's
she's
just like, you don't
very
need to be
store bought.
custom, but we shouldn't like look at it and be like, oh, she got that from Party City. Like, nothing should look like you pulled it out of a bag. And I'm not saying it needs to look super expensive either, but it shouldn't look like you pulled it out of a Halloween store bag, because that's what it looks like. It just looks cheap. It has all that sheen to it. It looks cheap. And I get you're on a budget, but it's like, not everyone can afford like custom, of course, but it's like, you can't look like you were just like I would wear that for Halloween, Shane. Actually, I probably wouldn't even wear that for Halloween. It's too cheap for even me. Like, Shane, it looks like it costs $10.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I can't excuse her. Like, it's criminal. And then going back to not being able to clock what the theme is, Jujubee, if I see you in person, I might have to read you in person for that bunny. Shane, if this bitch did not have that carrot and that sad Playboy bunny ear and then she thought she was cute by putting that tiny little cotton ball on her ass. Shane, I would not know it's a bunny. It's just,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because if you take away that everything going on top, it's literally just, you know, some hooker
a
from Las
bodysuit.
Vegas. Yeah.
It's a bodysuit. It's just, it's unacceptable, Shane. How did she not get red for that? Is it because she's such a gag?
I
Like,
guess it's, yeah, just the humor with the carrots and the, you know, the little bunny ears. I think it was like, you know, when oh, I am forgetting everybody's name today. Jasmine Masters, you know, it was like, where did she get a loaf of bread? It's like,
oh,
where did she get the carrots? I think it was kind of the same thing.
I guess, but and then on top of that, the ears that she did use, they're cheap. I would have liked to have seen a strong, like, it's sheer, so it's not as visually impactful. So if you're gonna use an ear, I would have liked you to have had the kind, you know, the kind when we were kids and you put it on like this, like a headband, and then
Oh,
have it be like a stark red.
oh, I actually love
Black.
the kind of agent provocateur feel of the
But it takes away from like the in your face. Like, I want more in your face bunny. We need more
well,
elements.
she wanted sexy. She was going for sexy bunny.
Well, I mean, but like I was saying, sometimes you can't do sex. Sometimes you just have to serve realness.
Mhm.
And then another thing too is like, another thing that would have also helped us. I mean, that bodysuit doesn't have any reference to a bunny, but something that could have helped is small details. Reach into your bust, pull out a bunny nose attachment, and plop it on. Then I'd give her some tens, because that would help with the bunny too. Little things like that, but I just need something to give me more in your face bunny. But you can't just put on a sheer bunny ear and call it a day and expect me to give you tens. Honey, if I was on that panel, I would have read it to filth. The judges would have hated me. Everyone would have been reading me to filth, because I would put her in the bottom for that. She needed to be in the bottom for that. She's lucky she's lucky she made us gag in the challenge. If it was me, and you know what? This is how strongly I feel. I really like Jujubee, but I'm so offended by those garments that if voting was left up to me, and like you don't count everything else that you did, you just vote, I would ignore the great job that she did in that challenge and the storyline behind that runway, and I would still send her home just for those garments alone, being that cheap and not a proper story. That to me is enough to just send you home. Even though she did well in the challenge, you need to bring it on the runway, and that is unacceptable. That being said, I do like me some Jujubee, but I would still send her ass home, because as a drag queen, as an all-star no less, that is unacceptable. You don't pull garments out of a spirit store bag and call it a day. Like, how dare you? I'm utterly offended as a fashionista. I'm offended. I really am, Shane. Like, I'm just like, and
oh, here we go.
I just had another thing that just made me
There
gag.
we go.
Then I just remembered, because I said, I'm a
20 minutes.
Right. I just remembered, because then I said a
Are we
fashionista.
talking about how you're going to fix it next?
No, because we can't fix it. But I remembered that, because then I was like, I'm a fashionista. Then I remembered, technically, this bitch is supposed to be one too, because that's her job on
Here we go. Here we go. The drag-tastic.
no, drag. So how could she do this? How is she the fashion queen on Dragnificent? And she brought that on the runway. Like, you know what was the biggest gag and the irony of it? She was paired up with the groups, and then there's this thing where she was like, she was like, what did she say? What did she say verbatim? It was like, I'm paired up with two girls who lack taste or something like that. And I was like, and then I see this, I'm like, because here's the gag, India's slaying more than you. I would have thought India has more taste than you from this runway. Ooh, I'm just, but yes,
all right. So let's agree that you didn't like this look.
I think it might be my worst.
All right, let's move on to Blair.
Let's go to Blair, yes. Now that we're done with that tangent.
Okay, I was really loving this. The only thing I didn't like was I just thought the middle one was very ill fit. But she really came strong with that last look. So
well, no, it's not ill fit. That's the cut of it, though. That's what it's supposed to be.
But it's so big. It's so big.
Well, the bitch is tiny.
Yeah, I guess so. Because I love that she was.
They could have taken it.
I love that she was marketing to old Broadway Blair here and that little.
Now here's where I'm torn about cohesion. There's a part of me that would have liked to have seen it be somewhat of similar colors, but I think the gag about it.
You are nitpicking today.
I am. Well, it's really we're fashion people. Are we supposed to give the people fashion opinions? So we need to be extra critical on the fashion. So I'm torn because I kind of do like the surprise, but then something about there not being a color that ties it in kind of just makes it seem like she just changed and it doesn't have a story. Something about the colors not matching, so it kind of takes away from it being a story, and it's kind of just like she just like, oh, and it's like it makes it kind of disjointed. But at the same time, it does kind of make you notice the three distinct changes more.
But if this wasn't yellow or blue or something white, then it wouldn't have read airline stewardess.
But I almost would have liked to have seen the last one come back to pink then. In that same
name one person that was known for using pink in a disco era. That was not the color.
You can't use pink in disco? Like a light pink glittery like that? Yeah, you can. You can use like if that same fabric with the glittery, but like a dusty pink.
Think about all the great like disco icons, Cher, Diana Ross. They were all like gold lame and like Bob Mackie and glitter.
Well, that's more brown, honey.
Yeah, that's more of a bronze.
Did they wear brown?
But unlike Jujubee, I really like that it was very strong for each decade.
Yeah. But what I will say is
which decade she was in without announcing it.
Yeah, for sure. But what I will say is I think she's probably the one person who did 3 very different changes.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Because when she gave us pants, I was like, okay, bitch, gag.
Right. Yeah. And that was hard, having that on. The only thing I maybe would have liked differently is maybe a different hat or hair reveal for the 50s and 60s.
Well, the thing is, because I was thinking it would have been nice if she could have taken the hat off for the second one. Right. But I guess all of that was holding it in place for her to have long third. So.
Exactly. The third look was so good, I could forgive anything that happened before that.
Yeah, and I like her story of the journey. So
the journey through the decades. So because like I said, you knew it was 50s, 60s, 70s. With Jujubee, you could have been like, what? Huh? Christmas? It was like
that was Halloween in the 90s. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you have all your feelings out about Blair?
Yes. This was the lesser of evils. I didn't mind Blair's. I like Blair's actually.
Oh.
Now here's my gag.
Now you go first. I'm curious what
Michelle tried it on Mariah, talking about taking off a jacket doesn't mean as a change, and I'm like, now granted Mariah's was all over the place, but that what she's giving, that's a jacket. Like that, she just took off a jacket. Yeah. She took off an old lady jacket, no less.
Right. I mean, she'd be looking like Patti LaBelle in '86 in this get up. And then, and then it was a bodysuit. I've done a reveal like this in drag where it's like I used to be very into the bodysuits back then, and then I would just take off the skirt and then dance in the bodysuit. It's just
but and these are like
no budget. No, my $40 a gig budget.
I sometimes wonder, like, what do you, how did no one clock that? Like, first of all, what those, because there's, again, follow the brief. It needs to be three different, it technically needs to be three different illusions, changes. What she did was separates. That's called separates. Like, no, I don't, maybe these girls don't know. Like, I mean, I'm not going to read Michelle, but like, I like Michelle, but I mean, she doesn't seem to know what separates are necessarily. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's something she's familiar with. Like, I mean, she'll don a jersey dress any day and call it a day, so we can't expect her to know what separates are, but that is separates. So how dare you let that through and not read her?
It's just, Megan is so beloved in Los Angeles, with Showgirls, WeHo, and, it's just so.
That's what I think it is. I think politics come into it more than anything, honestly.
How so? Oh,
Well,
you
because I
mean
think,
politics about her outside drag race.
yeah, of their outside life.
Yeah.
Because I think Mayhem's probably close with her. With,
Yeah.
like, I feel like if you're close with Michelle, she's not going to read you.
Right. And
I don't think Mariah's close to her.
All of her seasons, from regular Drag Race to All Stars, are just always so lackluster. And I know there's more. I've seen more on Instagram. I've seen more on YouTube, and it never comes together on the show. And I don't know why, and I can't explain it.
Right.
And so I just don't,
Shane, that's just, it's unacceptable. Shane, she looked like she was going to church when she first came out.
I mean, this would be fine at Showgirls WeHo. I would be like, ooh, ooh,
it's cute for Showgirls WeHo.
I'm like you, where it's like, come on, girl, you could do better. I know you could do better. So why aren't you giving them?
Again, it's literally separates. I'm not being a smartass. Those are called separates.
No.
So it's like, and then it's like, you took off a jacket, you took off one of your separates, and then you had nerve to just snatch off a sad circle skirt, call it a day. Now, what saved you
like this back in the day? I had a teal green skirt that I bought vintage that I used to wear with the bodysuit, and then I would take that off in the same exact shape.
Well, knowing you, you probably didn't have the decency to put Velcro on it. You probably just actually pulled it down like an actual skirt. But no, I'm just kidding.
It had a hook and eye, and I'm very quick at changing. How dare
you? Exactly. No, just kidding. No, but yeah, no. You're right. Like, it's just like she literally just like, oh, snatch off a skirt. It's just like, no, that's not enough because it's a separate. Now, what saved her is the gag of having a cap on underneath the wig. That helped. But
because the last look, I really, really enjoyed that. Like, if this was a bathing suit challenge, I'd be like all for it.
Yeah,
I'd be like, oh, she looks fantastic. I love the Dorothy Dandridge angle, and but
the first two are no.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Patti LaBelle, New Attitude Era, 86.
Right. I'm just gagging that no one clocked it. Like, oh, she's just wearing separates. They're not three different illusions. I'm gagging no one clocked it.
Yeah, inexplicable, really inexplicable. Well, let's move on to Cracker. So she gave us this Anastasia journey.
I'm into it, bitch.
Oh, you like it with the Fabergé egg? Yeah. And then she went into the gown, and then she went into the bodysuit. I don't know. I guess other girls beyond Mayhem, the other girls gave you like three separate things. I did appreciate Juju, gave you three separate stories, or at least attempted to. Blair gave you three separate stories.
I feel like what she did is what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. It should have cohesion, but they're still vastly different, but still cohesive, as opposed to three separate things. That's what I don't like about the other ones, is because they're so three separate things. I like that this is a full story.
Yeah.
The only thing I will say, though, is someone made a point of how the egg is technically, she's just holding it up above her head. And then remember, what's her name? Someone did that before, too, and they got red in that same challenge. Oh, Alyssa. Remember Alyssa? She held her dress up, and then she dropped it down. It was like the cameras attached.
Oh, yeah.
She got red for that. But what I will say,
that was so underrated.
Yeah, but what I will say, though, this is different than that, though, because that egg is like, it's different. Like, that's a look on its own. You can definitely count that egg as a look for sure. So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's more than she's just holding the bottom up, because it's an actual look on its own, even though she's just holding the bottom up. So that's what I like about it. And then
I don't hate it. Something's just not there for me. I don't know what it is, and I can't put my finger on
Are
it.
you serious for the second one?
I don't know. I just wanted three separate stories where this is a continuation of one thing.
Which is what makes it Snatch, though.
I know. Well, you and I have
Because they're so vastly different, huh?
you and I have
So what?
different tastes.
No, bitch. Some things ain't open to interpretation. Everything needs to be cohesive. No, I'm just kidding. But no, yeah. I mean, I see your point too. But I do like that they're telling a story, but they still are pretty much like vastly different. Like the egg is very much
I do
different.
appreciate the glamorousness of it. It's very glam. I love
Though,
that.
yeah.
You know.
If I were to nitpick, for the third one, I wish the garter part was also purple to bring a little bit more purple down.
Oh yeah, definitely. I see what you're saying.
But that's it.
Oh, all right. Not Cracker A minus.
Either she bring the purple down or she take off the sleeves, the two purple sleeves, and just have it be a gold moment.
Okay,
She could have
I
did that.
was living for this. How are you feeling about India Farah's house tooth?
So this was her little like early
Oh.
2000s editorial job, Photoshop job. Now, can we just also, before we move on, I just need to point out, and it's innocent, and my mind just kind of works this way. I don't know if it's because I'm a person of color and I kind of take things here. I don't know if normal people would see this, and someone could even say I'm reaching, but in today's political climate, I do think we should probably always step back and really super analyze a photo. Now, I by no means was this on purpose, and it's an accident. And again, as I said before, I'm over analyzing shit. But when you look at that picture, seeing that the mannequins were black, I kind of saw it as the other two were black people hanging. I'm
Black
sorry.
people what?
It's what I saw.
Wait, we didn't hear that part. Black people what?
Hanging.
Oh, ooh. Oh gosh. Well, they're
know,
on the pedestal though.
I don't see the pedestal though. That's the problem.
Right.
It looks like they're just hanging because the pedestal blends in.
I mean, now that you're saying it, I kind of see it, but it's only because you said it. I wouldn't.
But like I said, I don't know if it's because I just kind of like, because I'm black, I kind of see things differently. I don't know, but it wasn't, and it obviously wasn't her intention. I know, but I'm just saying I just think it's just an idea for the future. I feel like everyone should super analyze things like in today's political climate.
Well, this is also before Black Lives Matter was happening, but it wasn't.
Well, I wouldn't. She could have easily have shot this during quarantine, though. Don't you think they did this during quarantine?
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. No,
but
they
I mean,
did it during the show, so because the outfit was fresh and they.
No, if they did it during the show, why the fuck did they edit it so tacky?
I don't even think this is a photograph. I thought this was a drawing. I thought this was the rendering for the outfit they were going to send.
No, that's sure. They just edited it really poorly so that it looks like a damn drawing. But yeah, no, but it's cute though, and it's a great way to show all three looks. But something about I'm sorry, I can't help but see a mannequin. I can't help but see them looking at like as though they're hanging. But anyways.
Well, in any event, I thought this bodysuit was really smart. So I love this little piece that's covering. I thought that was really good. Loving the boot, the hat, the hair, the gloves. This is really, India might do the crown.
I really like it.
She's really.
Well, what do you think about that though? Because you said you don't like it. You essentially said you don't like it when they're telling a story. She had houndstooth each time.
But I don't know. There was something so high fashion about it that maybe that's what it is with Cracker. I just finally figured it out. Cracker's outfit was like a Broadway gag. You'd see it like Broadway fairs or something. Whereas India, this was McQueen, the Met, British Vogue. And I really responded to all the iconography in
But
it.
as a person who likes theater and musicals, darling, I can appreciate it because I could very much see that on the Broadway production.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. So, but I really was living for India's look. Right. It just was really, really fantastic. She should have been the winner, even though she did poor, but just on look alone, winner for sure.
Yeah, that was a strong runway for sure.
And this was what was missing from Juju's bunny look. This looks expensive, rich.
No, Juju's bunny look was just wrong. Juju's bunny look just needed to be redone. Don't get me started again. No, so
that I do not want.
Right. I like that. I see, but what I like is the way she so cleverly turned the skirt into pants, because she basically just took off that like peplum part, and then all of that took away the skirt part, and then it led us to the pants.
Right.
And then you get the bodysuit.
It was great.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
I mean,
Mariah, this was just very, Mariah either gets it so right or so wrong. And I really have grown to love Mariah this season. You know, I really see she's just such a chameleon. You know, like I
now
said,
here's the thing. I have to start it off by saying that so Mariah comes from the ballroom, right?
Mhm.
And I don't know how familiar you are with ballroom culture. So in the ballroom culture, in the ballroom exam, they often do a lot of things like this. Like the category would be like category 3 different illusions. Now in the ballroom, she would get 10s. Everyone would be like, yes, for that coat thing. And they wouldn't be unpacking it as much about it not being a full reveal because it's just a thing. She'd get 10s. So I think she was kind of coming at this challenge as like, what would get me 10s in the ballroom scene? Because they often do a lot of challenges like that in the ballroom. And she's from the ballroom. That's why she's a Balenciaga in the ballroom.
Mhm.
That's her house. So she's like, I think she came at the challenge like, oh, I'm familiar with doing things like this. How would I get 10s in the ballroom? Glasses like this, giving futuristic, and a fur coat. She would have gotten 10s, yes.
Mhm.
Now, on RuPaul's Drag Race, it's not the ballroom. I'll put you like that. It's the ballroom. So you kind of need to change what you give a little bit, because even the second dress, they probably would have she still would have gotten her 10s in the ballroom, but because it's just like the production of it and just like the idea of it. But for RuPaul's Drag Race, you need to give us more than just like a cute gag or a cute like visual. It needs to be more. So they're not going to see it as like, ooh, that looks cunt for that. They're going to be like, it was in the ballroom, that first number, they're going to be like, ooh, that looks cunt. But from someone who's not from the ballroom, like Michelle, she's going to be like, oh, that's just a coat. You know what I'm saying? So they're not going to see it the same way and give it the same kind of 10s. So I think she just needed to adapt each thing. Now, that being said, I personally, I like the idea of the first one. The second one, the second one's actually velvet. That's why I added the picture. I thought it was a jersey knit on the runway, but it's actually velvet apparently.
Yeah.
That helps with it. It makes it look a little bit more expensive, I guess. But the second one just looks cheap. It still looks cheap. I'm not feeling the second one.
The second and the third one look really, really, really cheap. I mean, this
Yeah.
is just ill fit, you know, the bottom right gown. You know, what is going on the top there? And
Yeah.
it made me sad because she can do better.
She
And
can.
it's,
But like
I
I said, though, in a
wanted more.
different setting, she would have got 10s. In the
Yeah,
ballroom setting, she would have got 10s for that. That's what she's
I
used
see
to.
what you're saying, but it just felt really flat in just
Yeah.
comparative to the other girls. And this is what I'm saying. I think it's harder for the people for the older seasons to really come into the wow factor of the new seasons. I mean, think about this against a cracker, you know, where it was the egg, and then it was the gown, and then it was, you know, the sexy Anastasia. I mean, that was very.
Yeah, you're right. And she's an older queen too. Like that would have gotten 10s. And actually, quite frankly, there's a chance that might not even get 10s now in the ballroom scene.
Right.
So I'm also wondering if it is just because she's like an older queen and that was the type of thing that got 10s.
Yeah.
Because even those glasses is very like a dated version of like futuristic.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
It's very 2000, the year
Yeah.
2000 ball, you know, ball
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
So it just, I was sad to see Mariah go. I think she has a greater story to tell, but,
Yeah.
And I really, really loved her, you know, Black Brown Lives Matter, you know, stance in the first challenge. I think if she had hooked onto that narrative a little bit more without being angry, you know, that would have been so good for her. But, you know, I just think a lot of these girls like Mayhem or her, I think they're really just used to the stage and they're not used to the challenges or the cameras. And I think it all really flips once all those things come into play, you know, because I think that, you know, if you and I went down to LA and we went to Showgirls WeHo, we saw Mariah and we saw Mayhem.
Yeah, we'd be like, yes.
Bills and hooting and hollering and all of that. Her, Morgan McMichaels, all those older girls. Morgan got kicked off All Stars very quickly as well. And she's a very legendary, person in Los Angeles and there. And I just think it's just difficult. I think things just really, really change once the cameras and these challenges come into play.
Right. It's I kind of, I hate to say it, but it's kind of like, or at least Drag Race has kind of become a young person's game.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's move on to
So
Shea.
you just kind of have to fight harder to keep up with them, basically.
So I really love this look now that I'm seeing it. It with, in still photography, loving the skirt and all that. But this makeup, I'm just really confused why she went in this direction.
Well, I mean, what makeup would she have done, though?
I don't know. It's kind of like Ross said. It was so overkill. There was just so much going
But
on.
she kind of had no
very
choice.
not. It's very not the Shea Coulee brand. How we've been so stunned by her makeup and so stunned by the way she looks. We're not getting that here.
Well,
like
I can appreciate it though, because think about it. Like, think of like some type of like cartoon. Like if they were I almost maybe let's say they brought A Bug's Life to a musical to Broadway. Mm-hmm. I could see that being really striking on stage, and it would be perfect for that. So it's like we need to look at it more as like a costume. And they read her for having it be costume, but it's also like, well, who's to say why is there not a place for costumes in drag? Well, costumes that don't look like you pulled them out of a box like Jujubee, but like there is a place for like theater costumes in drag. So I don't know why that was necessarily a read, because there's never been anything that
and I guess that's maybe why I'm having such a hard time like intellectualizing this, because this whole like these three vignettes are very Marnie Scarlett. They're very like Leah Bowery, conceptual, and that's not really what Shea's known for.
But I mean,
that's why I'm having such a hard time digesting it.
But bear in mind, you need to be able to zig when people think you're going to zag when you're a drag queen, especially on Drag Race. So that's exactly what she did. She zigged.
I don't know.
That's why I like it, because yeah, you're right. It's not what she would normally do, but that's also why I appreciate it more, because it's like she went outside of her comfort zone, and they're always getting read for doing the same thing. So it's like she did it before being told to try something new. You know what I mean? So I like that. So we need to give her points for that, and even
I can give her points, and I can hear what you're saying, and I accept it. But I'm just not connecting with it. Like I wouldn't even know this is Shea Coulee if you did not say Shea Coulee. Coming out on the runway, I wouldn't have known who this was. This could have been Bonet. This could have been, Asia O'Hare. This could, you don't even know she's Black in, any of these,
But I mean, but again, though, like, there's something, it's a costume, though. Like, again, like, if this was on the theater, the person would be, I'm just going to say Bug's Life, because that's what she was a cocoon. So I'm going to say this would be cute for Bug's Life. And you wouldn't want to know that the person's Black. You would just want to see them as a bug. So she's in a costume. So you're not supposed to see it's just, you know what I mean? Like, you're not supposed to see her. It's like she's just a bug at this point. So that's what I like about it. That's why I like that she did the makeup. And that's because quite frankly, if she didn't do that makeup and just like had her like, just a regular makeup on the face, it wouldn't make sense. She had to do that makeup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it's like you said, I don't hate it. I don't think necessarily there's anything to read about it, or anything. It's definitely elevated. It's definitely well thought out. It's just it's just not really connecting for me, I know,
I get it, but we have to look at it as like it's an elevated costume,
and
like
I can appreciate that. I mean, I see the workmanship, I see all of that, but
to me, it's almost, it just needs a few little tweaks, because like a couple things do read like slightly cheap, and it's really just one thing. I just thought that the parts of the wings looked a little bit cheap. I don't know what to replace it with, but it's something about, well, it looks cute here, but on the show it looked kind of cheap. But it photographs better than it was on the runway, or photographs even better. But I think on stage it would be really impactful. It would be really striking. But even that's like minor. But I just think, like, my point is, it's so well made in construction that I could see it winning a Tony for costume design. That's my point.
Ooh.
Like, that's like the construction, because the way the wings came out was really strong, and the story and the way everything kind of like came off. I could see. I think it could. You don't think it could win a Tony? It doesn't look like no fucking DIY project either.
Oh no, definitely not. And like that's what I'm saying too. If it was, if we were, in the London clubs, and this came out, I'm sure I'd be gagged, but I'm still, like I said, I'm just having such a hard time digesting that it was Shay because it's so off brand for her.
Well, I know, but you need to look at it as like what it is though. Like, do you think that would win a Tony? What do you think? For costume design?
Sure. We were talking about like Leah Bowery, the musical. Like, I need a little bit more context.
Well,
sure.
A Bug's Life, the musical.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Definitely.
Because I think it's really strong, and people aren't really seeing. People are looking at it like, what the fuck is that? And they're not thinking about it as a costume. They read it for being a costume, but the thing is, you need to be looking at it as a costume and appreciating its craftsmanship. And they may have gotten thrown off by the makeup, but even if you take the makeup out of it, even too, look at it, but it's a strong costume. I'm so gagged that people aren't seeing it for that.
In the words of Gigi Good, costume. This is a look. Like pops if you're nasty.
Right. But even down to the makeup too. I like the makeup too. Like it brought cohesion. If I were to read one thing, I would read that clear stripper shoe.
Yeah. So the episode was okay. It was okay. I don't think either of us were super blown away by anything that happened.
They definitely don't ever need to do another vignette challenge.
Yeah, it was a lull for our stars. It's kind of the middle. I mean, how many episodes are there going to be? I don't know. 12, 10?
Probably 12. I don't know.
12.
But I think what it is they're running out of ideas.
Yeah.
You know what they should do? They should do like a submission of new ideas for the show, and to have the fans do it.
Right. And like I said, I would really like to see them go back to some of the really older lo-fi challenges, like the, thrift store, get everything for $1, going out to Hollywood, interviewing people on the street, that type of thing. So it's just, it's become such that Broadway big production value that I miss some of the more like colloquial, like drag challenges. Like I would even love them to just like take them to a bar and like have them like perform at like a low budget bar and see how it goes, because I bet, it's like anything,
actually,
but it's like anything else. The Hollywood gloss is on it now, the big production gloss, and that's what, especially, I mean, I think about if you're like 12 and watching the show, some little 12-year-old gay boy, and this is the only thing you were 2 when Mariah and Jujubee, they don't even know that low budget drag race.
Right.
So it's like, I don't think the audience now would even accept those lo-fi challenges.
No, but they should though. They need to wrap their head around it because, quite frankly, that's what drag is. Though it's part of drag too. Like
I don't
making it work, honey.
I can't remember which video it is, but Lady Bunny, had a really, really good point. Where she was talking about, it's like, the kids are online being like, oh, this isn't drag, that isn't drag, but they've never been to a club. They've never even experienced drag in a real-time setting, because they're not 21 and they can't go to a club. So they're all behind the computer and the social media all day making judgments when they haven't even been exposed to different types of drag, and there is so many different types of drag, that I think that it's, there's no room for like a Tammy Brown anymore. There's really no room for like an oddball. The oddest it's going to get is Cracker. And let's face it, she's not that odd.
Well, what about Evie?
Evie Oddly, even that, I think that might be the last of the kind of scary drag, or that Sharon Needles type drag. I think it's all gonna go real high gloss, high femme, high gloss going forth, because I think that's what's being deemed by the audience and what the audience wants. And maybe not necessarily our audience, but I'm talking about when they do straight up like A/B testing, like at VH1, and be like, what do you want to see on Drag Race? Do you want oddball drag queens, or do you want high glam drag queens?
True. No, you're right. They're all gonna say high glam.
It's not become about like a circle of, queens and queer people coming up with a show on Logo. It's like VH1 is involved now, advertisers, so that's all, that money train is steering the content of the show, so, and they're straight up market testing the show, it's
true.
So I think I yearn for a simpler drag race,
But so I would like to see them go to like a hardware store.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. Something that really is like a gag, so out of the comfort. So, that was the best thing about this hotel challenges when they were like, oh, there's not a butch queen, and they were trying to lift. Like, I wanted to see more of that.
Yeah.
So it was like the
True.
comedy cut out of there. They
True.
relied it only on the
True.
actual filming of the challenge, where the
True.
behind the scenes is the best part
True.
of the comedy, when they're just being themselves.
That
So,
is true. Yeah, no, that was gagging at the Butch Queen. There was no Butch Queen, that they were saying there's no Butch Queen to help with that shit. That's true.
yeah, it's so true. So there was no Cameron Michaels this season. That is definitely.
That is for sure. This season, there was not a Butch Queen, honey.
Even I, with my queenie ass, would have been able to like lift that furniture better. So
I don't know about that.
I'm a decor queen.
But
look at what I've done with this apartment.
well, yeah, but the issue isn't the decor part. The issue is the man part, or the man part rather.
Look, I hung these photos.
True, but can you lift a heavy couch, darling?
Look,
without struggling.
I picked this couch up from my ex-boyfriend's house in San Francisco. Had to take it down a flight of stairs with my other ex-boyfriend, loaded into an SUV.
I guess that's true, but still, but one thing about you though, we won't ever be mistaking you for any of a masculine type. We'll say that.
She's always got to put that in every episode. So
every episode. Well, I really wish you guys, one of these days, we're going to do an episode where, with us just like out on the town. I just really need you guys, and I'm going to point the camera on Shane the whole time, because I really just need you guys to get into his mannerisms, because he truly is a white woman in her 40s, or late 40s, early 50s.
I was going to say,
actually, more like late
almost 40. So that's not true.
Actually, no, not even 40s. Let me take it back, because he kind of carries himself. He actually carries himself as like a woman in her late 50s, early 60s in the South. That's how she carries herself.
I'm very proper, very proper. My mother raised me well.
She's very much a Southern belle. I really wish you guys could fully see it, because she's.
I basically, how how many times a day people send me those Leslie Jordan Instagram videos, and they're like, you.
Yeah, that is you. That is definitely
100%.
Yes. But yes, guys. So that was.
All right. So we got a few things coming up. I've got a very intense summer school schedule, so these videos are going to be very sporadic. So we're going to do a very short disclosure video. We're going to do a gay slang video. We're working on that. We're going to bring in a videographer, maybe do some fun things. That's on the burner. Yeah. So we got a lot coming up. So make sure to subscribe below, comment. We got the Instagram going. So, all right. And we'll see you soon.
See you. Bye, guys.
Bye.